Okay, so we are back out today. Goal for today is that we are going to be setting the footer that we dug out last time in concrete, also installing some rebar. When we did the other side of the fence, we put the rebar in afterwards, so this time we're going to go ahead and just put it in beforehand because it might make our jobs a little bit easier down the road. But we brought down some bags of concrete with us. We brought down a ton of water, and so we're going to fill in the footer, get that set. Let me show you what the concrete looks like. Okay, so this is some of the concrete that we brought down with us. So this time we're going to be just using normal concrete. When we did our footer for the other side of the wall and for our back corners, we used the Quickcrete, which allows it to set up within 30 minutes to an hour so that you can start working on it. But since we don't plan on laying blocks on this side today, we figured that we'll go ahead and just use regular concrete. By the time we are ready to do all the blocks, it will be nice and cured and ready for us to go and start building on top of. So we're gonna go ahead and get the car unloaded. Also, since this 56-foot section has to take a lot of concrete, like a lot of concrete, we went ahead and we picked up one of these thingies. It says that it's meant to mix concrete with. I am not convinced yet just because it's very tiny. Like, this is it in comparison to my hand. So we're gonna see how it works. Previously, Elijah's been mixing the concrete by hand, so this will give him a little bit of a break. If this doesn't work, then we'll probably just finish mixing by hand. Well, Elijah will finish mixing by hand, and then we'll probably have to look into, for sure, getting a concrete mixer for the other section of the wall that we have to do for the middle section for the footer, because that's a lot of concrete to cover 168 feet. So we're gonna go ahead and get everything unloaded from the car, and then we will see you in a little bit. Okay, so pretty much what we're going to be doing is we brought out 2 blocks with us so that we can get the correct measurements, because I have a diagram of where the rebar is supposed to go based on where the blocks are going to line up. So this is the diagram that we were working on. It's just a simple render that I made up on an online program. So pretty much all the little white blocks there, those represent our concrete blocks, and then all of the black lines, those are where we're going to be setting our rebar in. And then I also have the spacing in between, so we know how many blocks in between each of the pillars. And then the little weird color circles at the top, those are just for our future reference for when we start attaching our lights. Okay, so here Elijah is just marking where he needs to cut these rebar further down from. We did end up buying 10-foot rebars. They are 1/2 inch because it was more cost effective than buying a bunch of small ones. And so with the 10-footers, most of them we cut them in half at the parking lot in Lowe's, because 1, they wouldn't fit in our car, and 2, we didn't need them being that big. And so we do have a couple left that we need to cut down further for the little tiny sections in the wall. So those are going to be about 2.5 feet. And then we did go ahead and decide to cut on top of our driveway that we graded out last, just because there's the least amount of bush over there and dead grass. We kind of already brushed it away so that any sparks that go flying, we could go ahead and, you know, just let them evaporate into the ground. Okay, so pretty much what we're doing is that we took the blocks and we lined it up with where it's going to end up going. And we have a 5-foot rebar. We'll end up driving it a little bit further into the ground, right below the concrete footer, and then do the rest of the concrete from there. Go ahead.
We're gonna have a pillar here, right?
That's a pillar. So you gotta make sure it's straight.
Not straight. Can I try to straighten it?
I'm just gonna drive it straight. So for the smaller rebar, to make sure that we put them in at the correct height, because if they're too tall, we're not going to be able to put caps on top of the blocks here. We took wood and we filled in the footer with some scrap wood pieces, and then we went ahead and set 2 bricks on top of that, and then drove that in at that length to make sure it was at the correct height. So Elijah went ahead and put all of the rebar that we're using in the ground. We did have some extra ones to go a little bit further down just because we cut down the 10-foot, so it did leave us with some extra. With these ones, since we're not going to be putting blocks on them today, we have some industrial strength Gorilla tape that's super thick that we're going to use as little caps, rebar caps to go on the top of them. We're going to mix up some concrete, and then we're going to start pouring the concrete into the footer, smoothing it out, and then we will be done with that project until next time. slab is nice. Look, you didn't admire my...
Oh, that's nice. That's pretty nice.
Don't ask me to pour a whole slab for a house. I don't have the patience for that. So this is what the end of the footer looks like. We put a little blocker bar here so to keep the concrete from going any further, so we'll just have a natural seam there. But this is the footer going down that way. Don't worry about all the wonderful squiggly lines. We had to go back a little bit further because we didn't dig far enough back, so we just made some little adjustments, but the concrete blocks will fit perfectly on there. So that is what it looks like, and it's pretty much nice and smooth. It's setting up pretty nicely. We definitely want to make sure we got out here today to get it done, because we are expecting some rain probably in about 4 to 5 days from now, and so at least that will give it time for it to set up. So next time we'll only have to come out with 3 more rebar for the pillar, and then 2 or 3 more of the little mini ones to go on the in-between sections. So, and then with today's weather, it's really nice. It's a nice overcast, cool day, so it did allow the concrete to be a little bit more forgiving than it would be if we were doing it on a sunny, hot day. So it didn't set up as quickly, which was nice. But for the most part, let me turn you around. For the most part, it's very smooth. Since we leveled out the actual trench when we dug it, we weren't worried too much about smoothing out the concrete. But I did smooth it out to eye level, or I guess a feel, because like you can usually tell when something's sloping up when you're running your hand across it. So when I was running the trowel across it, I was just making sure I didn't feel any increases or decreases. Once we put down the mortar, we will end up leveling out the block with the mortar, and all of this will be covered up by dirt. So okay, so we are done for today. So we hope that you enjoyed the video, and we will see you in the next one.